Morning guys. Just grab my coffee here. We're going to do the Saturday morning stretch on this lovely morning. Hopefully don't go weather that we're having today. So I hope we're all having a good one. We're all up out of our beds. If not, we can catch up later on. But we're going to loosen out the body. So again, I'm going to do a little bit with the towel today for the stretching, just to do a little bit more of that sort of progressive stretch, just to hold, and for anyone that's not really able to reach for the toes or to reach around the back when we're doing that shoulder stretch and the mobility work, you can use the towel to help with that instead. But we're going to loosen ourselves out from head to toe today again, so we'll get ready to go. So again, just from the floor, just circle. Just long circles around. We're just going to move the body first to get the blood flowing through the joint and to loosen everything out. And then we're going to start moving into actual stretch work and mobility work after that. Back away with the arms. Relax that. Just the head, hands and the hips, just the neck, side to side. Neck is something that's quite often overlooked by people when it comes to mobility and flexibility. But whenever we're doing sit-ups and things like that, the neck is stabilizing, so I like to give it a little bit of movement as well. So back to center, we're going to semicircle, round, semicircle, round. So you're not just doing circles with your head, you're half circle round one way, back round another way. Just nice long circles to loosen it out, to feel the stretch coming down the side of the neck as you do it, and down the back of the neck as you're circling that up and round. From there, just feet underneath the shoulders, just loosen out the hips, circle it round through. And chain, same thing other side. Relax that. Feet together, hands on top of the knees. Again, keep the heels planted on the floor in circles. So you're semicircling one way, down and round. The hands are for balance and to guide the knees. So semicircle round one way, straighten it up. Semicircle down and round, straighten it up. And then we're moving back the opposite way. Bring that up on the toe, circles. Then we'll change, up on the toe, circles. Plant the feet, just push the heel over to one side, so you're on the side of your foot. Back to center, same thing over foot, onto the side of the foot slightly, just to get that stretch coming down the outside of that shin. Back down in. Back down in. Just keep that moving. So you're just pushing over slightly, pushing open slightly. And then we'll bring that up. So we're going to start. This can be done with the wall. If you haven't done this before, it can be done against the kitchen counter depending on where you are. So all we're going to do is we're going to go through some ankle mobility as we've just finished with that. So the way it works is you're going to keep it about 6 inches away from the wall. You're going to lean forward into that wall. If you can touch, you're just going to move the foot back very slightly. If you can touch, you move the foot. Don't think about the back leg. What we're doing here is we're stretching the Achilles tendon off this front leg. We're mobilizing it. So push in until you can touch, move it away slightly, push in. Once you can't touch, you're about an inch away from that. We're going to do 6 reps progressively pushing further forward. This heel does not lift. Don't lift your heel, because if you're lifting your heel, you're not getting the stretch. You're turning into a calf movement. So you're going to push, back out, push, and over the 6 reps, you should find that that inch closes in and you're actually able to touch that wall. So you're getting a bit more progression on that ankle through that mobility work that you're doing with the ankle. But don't let that heel lift. 2 more. 1 more. And back in. So it gives a good bit of loosening out through that Achilles. And it's a good one for it because it's a place that people, quite often people do this. And you're stretching into that calf up here. But then you're not getting in through the Achilles tendon. That's another one you can do. Calf stretch at the back. And then bend the knee forward slightly, keeping your heel down. It gives a stretch. But this is a mobilization one, working through that calf. So opposite side. So again, find the position. Move forward, pull back. Move forward, pull back until you can't touch. And then we're going to do 6 from there. And good. Straight out. Just listen that out into it. We're going to keep with that chair. Sit down in the chair. We're going to sit nice and tall from that position. So preferably a kitchen chair, guys, something that has you that you're at 90 degrees. The sofa would have it that you're kind of up like this. So we don't want you in this position, we want you sort of tall, 90-degree position. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this foot onto this knee. And then when you get in that position, we're going to sit tall. So don't slouch against the back of the chair, sit forward onto it. Whatever can get you into this position. And from there now, we're going to put this down and just hold. And you should feel this coming into that hip flexor, right into the crest of your hip, and maybe pulling around into your glute. And all I'm doing is using the weight of my arm to hold that down. Sit tall. Don't slouch, because once you slouch, you're getting a bit of a stretch, but you're losing that mobility coming through the hip. So sit tall, pull yourself forward, and you'll feel it coming around into where you are tight. Usually the glute for most people, and then the crest of the hip flexor. So nice and tall. So 3, 2, 1, and then we'll change. Sit tall, other side. Pull yourself forward, and then push down in. Good deep breaths. So deep breath in. Every time you breathe out, let that leg go further down into it. So we do a stretch on the floor as well, the pigeon stretch, and the pigeon pose that people call it. And some people can't get into that position. This is a very similar position and it's working a similar way and loosening out them muscles, but it's a more comfortable position for people. Relax that. We're going to change that again. So again, we're going to go into a little bit more ankle mobility now that you've got that hip loosened out a little bit. So let your ankles go past your knee from here. Just get into that position. You're going to grab your toes and then we're going to actively circle. But again, when we get into this position, guys, a lot of times when people get into this, they focus on this and everything else just then relaxes and they start this. But they're in this crouched position where everything is just sort of turned off. You want to be engaged into your stretching when you're doing it. Get tall, get the elbow onto that thigh, so you're still working a little bit of that stretch through the hip, and then actively pull that big toe around in circles. So if you do a lot of running or a lot of walking, then that ankle joint and that joint coming through here, it does a lot of work, and it's probably the one that gets mobilized and stretched the least. People lift the foot back the opposite way, and they'll stretch their quad, and then they'll stretch maybe their hamstring, they'll sit back onto their hip, maybe they'll stretch their calf, but you're not mobilizing your joints. You're not thinking about everything that's doing the work in it. And then relax that down. Up the other side. So again, put your shin or the side of your leg on it rather than having your ankle on your leg, because if your ankle's on your leg, you can't turn it because the actual joint now is on top of your thigh. You need to get that joint past. Sit tall, bit of weight with the arm to stabilize that, and then nice long circle. Circle it round. So sit tall. So again, we're trying to open up that joint and get everything sort of moving through that joint. And again, especially those of us now that are doing the step challenge, if you're going from doing very little steps to doing a lot of steps, then the muscles are working. And just because it's walking doesn't mean that they aren't doing more work than you previously were doing. Because you are. So we're just keeping that mobile. Good. Relax that down. Bring it down. So stand up. Keeping with the chair, we're going to wrists on the chair. So again, I've explained this before why I don't use the hands or use the grip. It's because people will collapse down through that wrist then when they go into the stretch. So now this is in a bad position. So I put the back of the wrist on, or the heel of the hand onto it. So sit tall, push back like you're going into a deadlift so your back's flat. As you push back, you're getting the stretch pulling through that lat. You should feel it pulling through here. Some of you might if you're not tightening the lats, and as you do it now, we're going to push the shoulder blades down through, so you're pushing your chest down. So I'm not trying to push my head down because that's just bending my head. I'm pulling back and then down. So we're getting the stretch through the rear shoulders and also pulling through that lat. Just deep breaths. Relax into it and keep that stretch. 2 more breath cycles. Big breath in. Breathe out. Big breath in. Breathe out. Go further into that stretch. And then walk that in. So you can do this on a door as well. If you don't have access to a chair, guys, when you're doing that type of a stretch, you put one arm up onto the top of a door frame, step forward, and that's going to give you that same thing. What you don't want is this big flare in the ribs. Keep that rib cage locked down so that you actively are pushing into that stretch in the shoulder. So same, we're going to work the opposite this time. So grab the chair, roll the shoulders back, push your chest out. So I want the shoulders, I don't want them driven forward in the socket. I want you to feel as if your shoulders are back in your back pockets from there. So when your chest is out, your shoulders should be actively driven back. And all we're going to do is take a step forward. That's going to engage that stretch slightly. If this is enough, if you're in this position now and you think to yourself, that is pulling right through that pec, right into that bicep, and it's getting a little bit of discomfort, not pain, then you can hold the stretch there. For those who want to progress a bit further, you walk your feet forward and then you start sitting down into a small squat. But I'm keeping them shoulders pulled back together because I don't want to drive forward into this position because it's not good for the shoulders to be driven forward in the socket. So roll them back, squeeze them together, get that stretch. So you're pulling through that pec and down into that bicep. And bring that out of that. Just shake that out. Done with that chair, we're going to mobilize through that wrist joint now. So forearms together, and from that there, circles. Just circle that round, keeping the forearms together, and again, we're just mobilizing through the wrist joint. So we're doing circles one way, and then back the opposite way. Relax that. So, arm out, palms facing the ceiling. I don't want you to grab your fingertips and pull down. You see people doing this where they pull through the fingertips. I don't like that position for the joints of the finger. I put the side of the fingers onto the full side of that palm. So right there to there. So it's getting across the heel of the joint of the main knuckle. And then I pull that down and hold. So you've got the fingers sort of supported the full way through rather than just pulling on individual tips. We're just holding that down now. Bring that up, same thing other side, out, 90-degree across it, pull it down now. So same thing on the opposite side, lock the joint straight, pull through. and then we'll bring that up. Same thing now for the wrist, we're going to swan neck it. So this, you create that swan position, grab, so the heel of my hand ends up at the back of my knuckles, and then I just fold this in to there. So it's just giving a stretch down through that back, down in. We use the wrist nearly in every exercise, especially with the bodyweight stuff at home. Your wrists are involved in stabilizing your mountain climbers, they're involved in your press ups, they're involved in a lot of the floor work. And again, like the ankle joint, it's one that doesn't get used, it's sort of loosened out a lot. Opposite side, swan neck, heel of the hand on top of those knuckles, grab, and then just fold this arm down in, and that should be enough to put pressure on it. You're almost trying to bring your elbows together, but to get the stretch through the back of this wrist. So wrist mobility, ankle mobility, hip mobility, shoulder mobility, those are the ones that we use whenever we're moving. They move us in our exercises, but they're usually the ones that don't get mobilized whenever for people day to day. People tend to forget about them. They stretch the main muscles. Relax that. So what I mean by that is that people will stretch like this. So they will, after maybe a run, they might do a few of these here, or might do a few of these. They might sort of do maybe this here, and maybe they might do this and this. You might get this calf stretch, and then they go for a run, and they come back after the run, and then it's get in the car and drive home. But you've just, after putting your body through a long period of exercise, like a 5K run for some people could be half an hour. So that's half an hour of running constantly, the amount of impact that that creates. You need to loosen out afterwards. You need to mobilize before, you need to stretch after. So don't stretch before. Static stretching before actually decreases performance and can cause micro tears because you're not warmed up. So that's the reason we do mobilization before the classes, is to loosen you out. So stretch through here. I'll talk while I'm doing this. So foot position is just slightly wider than shoulders. Chest stays forward, so as I do this, I don't allow my body to rotate because you're not getting the same stretch. We're looking to stretch from that tricep into the lat, down the side of the body. So I'm square on, support that rib cage, opposite side, down in, go again, further, breathe into it, go again, further, breathe into it, breathe into it. So when I get to the furthest position of this, it's coming from my tricep, lat, down through my obliques, right into that hip bone. One more, long. Good, change sides. Support that rib cage. Start small, so I can get to there. The first one, breathe. Chest stays facing you on that camera. Square on. Two more, long. Last one, go. Back to center. Hug. So, rotate, rotate. Coming from, what I'm trying to do is like a pepper grinder. So the bottom of the pepper grinder doesn't move, but the top, you do this. This is what I'm trying to do here, come through that thoracic spine. So it's rotation. The reason I'm hugging is that it stops people doing this, where the arms are moving, and maybe the feet are moving, but the actual movement through the thoracic spine is this, because we're letting everything else do the work. Whenever you hug and plant that feet, you're getting your true range of motion of what you're able to do through that thoracic spine. So do a couple like this, so you get the movement. Then Cossack position will allow you to get a bit further, because you're going to use the arms to act as a lever to sort of help pull you around. Then get that pec into it. Open up. But you're still coming from that thoracic spine. Loosen out. Loosen out. A few more. Last one. Bring that up. Walk at it. Hip mobility. Just open out. So open the door is the way to think of it. So there's the door. Open that door, put it down. So if you've never done this before, open the door, put it down. Because otherwise people will do this sort of thing, where they'll circle, but they're not actually doing that opening movement. 1, 2, down. 1, 2, down. So the movement is an actual open from the hip, rather than just circling around, but you're not actually getting that last bit of a stretch through that hip. So open that door. So this is what you should be doing whenever you're doing it, up and open, to get that pull through the hip flexor, down coming into the groin. Otherwise you're just lifting your leg and circling, and it's probably not doing a lot for you apart from lifting that leg and that first movement. So you're getting a little bit of opening. 2 more. Relax that. So we're going into that flexibility. So we're going for that touch. So put one hand up your back from here. The other hand comes over. You try and grab those fingertips and hold that stretch position. So what you're trying to do with this is get that tricep past your head as much as possible and get the shoulder back so that you can get the hand up the back as far as possible. If that isn't possible, this is what we use the towel for. So if you're looking at that and you're new and you're thinking to yourself, what the hell is he doing? This is what this is for. So you get into this position where the hand behind the head, towel hangs down your back, you grab the towel, and then you pull yourself down into that position from here. And then you walk your hand up the towel more until you can get it. And then you can pull up, you pull this hand into position. Once you get that, walk this hand down. And then you just get into a similar position, but you've got a gap now instead of being able to touch. So the towel acts for what we're doing with that. If you can touch, you go into it and touch. And people usually have one side that's better than the other. The towel is also good if you have a bad neck and you can't get your head forward too much. The towel, you can keep this hand up top above the head and just really pull that bottom arm up as far as you can. Change sides. So just loosen that out if you want. So I'm going to walk this up, so this shoulder is slightly tighter than the other, so I may need help. Hands round, so I can just get fingertips here because of this right shoulder, it's been giving me bother. And then hold. Breathe into that stretch. And again, if that doesn't suit, grab the towel, pull that towel. This is more of a stretch for that back bottom arm than it is for the top arm. So you're trying to get that pulled up the back as far as possible. See what your shoulder mobility is like around the back. Relax that down. Just shake them out. So that's uncomfortable for a lot of people because they have bad range of motion on the shoulders. So even getting around the back, some people can only get as far as there. They'll get the hand maybe to the bottom, that's the end. Which is why the towel, you grab that towel and then you just slowly give a slight pull. You pull it up the back. So you're trying to stretch this arm more than the top arm. So widen the feet. Just be careful if you're on a slippy floor, guys. And again, from this position, feet are wide and then I'm going to hinge back. So my chest and upper body stays tall, pushing my butt back into that straight leg position from here. And then either floor or grab the thighs from that. We're trying to get stretch coming down through those hamstring and the calves, depending on what you get to do. For me, I need to go out slightly further in order to get that stretch to be anyway sort of good for my groin and her thigh. And then I can sit back into it. So just hold that position. Don't try and go down here. If you can't come down here, go higher for yourself. And we walk back up slightly because we're going to come over to one side. Hold that stretch. Over to the other side, hold that stretch. Just hold that same position. And from there, bend at one knee, sit down into your stretch. So you mightn't get as low as I am here, so just go higher. If it's here and you're just bending to the side, that's fine. You can stay tall and just do this. So you push your butt back, supporting this leg, and her thighs getting stretched down through. I just did. I've kickboxing behind me so I can get lower, just not as low as what I used to, but low enough. Other side. And then change. Try and keep your feet planted as you change. And then change. 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 That's it. Keep that moving. Switch sides. And then we'll bring that down onto the floor. Grab a mat if you want one. foot for this here, come down in. What you can do, guys, is you can put a towel around your foot. We're going to put one knee in as much as possible, chest nice and tall, and then you're just going to pull your big toe so it's square, so when you grab with the towel sometimes your small toe ends up towards you because of your dominant hand. Square off your foot, chest tall, you can just walk yourself forward till you get a stretch and hold. Or go as far as you can and hold that stretch. Bring that up, sit tall. So again, we're not trying to slouch into this stretch, keeping a tall spine. And then forward we go. Breathe out, go forward. Sit nice and tall, forward again. Last one, sit nice and tall, forward again. Bring it up, chin sides. So again, if you can't get here, guys, from this, you can just put that towel around and use that for your support. And again, you're trying to pull yourself forward from the hip, not from your lower back. So you're not just collapsing down into this sort of a stretch. I don't want you doing this, trying to sort of collapse and stretch out. I want a tall spine position, which is why the towels are better if you can only, so if you can only go forward slightly, sit tall, walk your hands forward, and if that's enough, hold that stretch there. If that's it, just do that. I don't want you going further if you lose that spinal alignment. Chest tall, go forward. Come out of it, chest tall, further forward. Chest tall, up out of it, further forward. Last one, up out of it, further forward. And we'll bring that up, straighten the legs. So we're going to bring that foot across the knee. So my right foot is over my left leg from here, or sorry, my left foot is over my right leg. So my right arm, I'm going to grab that knee in a headlock from here, and then I'm going to pull this left knee over my right shoulder. So I'm just hugging it across. And that's just giving me a pull down through into that outside of the glute. So slight headlock, and then pull up through. So I'm just pulling up and over this shoulder. So again, tall spine, sit tall, do it, and breathe deep as you do this. Relax that. Just bring that elbow to the outside of the knee now, and we're just going to twist ourselves around. So again, you're twisting through that thoracic spine, bringing the hand round, sitting tall. If you need, push up on this arm, the back arm, in order to keep yourself tall, and breathe. Relax that. Bring that leg across, same thing opposite side. So my right foot goes over my left knee. So I'm going to grab now across the knee with my left arm. So I'm grabbing the right knee with my left arm, so it's coming across the front like a choke, grabbing it, and then I'm just going to pull it over this shoulder. Sit tall. So it's just getting that slight headlock, and what that does is giving a pull down through into the outside of your glute to get that stretch through your glute. Come right here so you can see it better. So it's like a headlock position. But my left arm has got my right knee across the front, and then you're pulling up through. So it's helping to stretch out this glute first and getting your alignment first, because then whenever you put the right hand behind and you bring the left arm across, it's already pre-stretched, so you really keep tall as you come around into that stretch. Breathe. Breathe. And then we'll come up out of that. So we're going to do that three-way hamstring stretch. So you will need a towel for this. So we will start with the left leg because that's facing the camera for you. So the towel goes around the mid-foot. The position that you end up with the leg, this leg stays straight now. The bottom leg stays straight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start to lie back. And if this is where as far as you get for your leg, that's fine. As long as your knee is locked and your leg is straight. Don't go any further than that and hold this stretch. If you can get further, you go further. But what you don't do is go further, but then this happens. Because you're not stretching your leg whenever your leg is bent. So lock that leg straight. Doesn't matter if it's an inch off the floor, if your towel is long enough. As long as you're lying down flat, pull it up in and hold. So we're going to do 15 seconds here. And go. Breathe into it. Keep the knee locked. Keep the stretch on. Not vibrating. You don't want to fight against the stretch. So in 3, 2, 1, we're going to go out to the side. And then you're going to pull up towards you. The depth that this leg goes depends on your mobility, but it also depends on this hip. Go as far as you can, as long as this hip doesn't roll over. We don't want that. So opposite arm out to the side. And then pull up towards you. So out and then pull. 10 seconds. And 10. Bring it up. Opposite side. So we're going to change hands. We're going to pull it across. This is going to be uncomfortable. You're going to pull it across as far as you can and then pull up. And you're really going to get this coming through the back of the knee, outside of the hamstring, glute. Some people will find it in different places, but that's where you're tight. So when you're ready, and across, pull up and hold. Breathe into it. Relax, don't fight it. Breathe. It's going to be uncomfortable, but breathe and pull it through. 10 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Bend that knee, bring it down, sit up, change sides, same thing opposite leg, square off the foot, keep lock the knee straight on the ground now, pull your toe back towards you, and then back we go. And wherever you stop, that's it. I don't want it vibrating. Your leg shouldn't be vibrating. If it is, relax it back a couple of inches, and then hold the stretch in that position. You want to stretch, but you shouldn't be fighting it. So go as far as you can, 15 seconds when you're ready, and hold. Again, after this, we're going out to the outside. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1, outside, and then pull up. So again, keep this opposite hip down. If the hips come across, lift the leg slightly higher. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1, back to center. Cross the body now. So just work across, keep the opposite shoulder down, and then pull up. Oh, that is horrible. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1. Bend the knee. Bring yourself up. We'll bring that onto your side. So from that position, bring your knee forward, grab your foot, knee together. Once you get the knees together, push your pelvis forward. So straighten the body up. So tuck that pelvis as if you're trying to bring your pelvis up to your forehead. And that's going to engage that stretch down through your quad. If you can do it on your front, do it on your front. But if you can't grab your foot in the front, the easiest way is to bring the knee forward till you can grab and go back as far as you can till you get that stretch. Knee forward, straighten that out. Same thing opposite leg. I'm just going to spin around so facing you. So knee forward, grab, knees together, straighten the body up, pelvis forward. It doesn't matter if your heel is not touching your butt whenever you're doing this stretch. The stretch is for the quad. So hold that stretch in that position. And knee forward, relax that down. Bring it onto your front, hands under your shoulders. Big breath in, breathe out, push your pelvis into the floor, roll your shoulders back, keep your head neutral. We're not trying to look up with this. So we're stretching through the abdominals, lengthen through. Think about pushing your pelvis into the floor, that'll engage your glutes to protect your back. Sit back out of that, widen the knee slightly. Walk your hands forward and then sit back so you're getting that stretch through the upper back. Hold that position, walk the left hand to the outside, walk the right hand on top of it, sit back further. You'll feel that in your lat. Back to center, walk the right hand to the outside, left hand on top, sit back into it. Back to center. Just bring that up, walk it up onto the feet. Once we're on the feet, we're going to stretch that up and through. Keep your head neutral, push the hands up to the ceiling and then push back slightly. Hands go to the side, hands face up and then push back, get through the pecs. So the fingers are going out the way towards the wall and back. Bring the left hand across, grab the tricep above the elbow and pull through. Change, right hand comes across, grab the left tricep, pull through. And then hands go around the back. Roll your shoulders back. Should be a lot easier now to get your shoulders back and out compared to what we did in the chair earlier. And then push the hands away from the body. But don't let the shoulders relax forward. Roll the shoulders back, chest is out, and then push up and away. And relax that down. That's us guys, well done. You should be well listened out after that. We had another tough week in the classes, so that should loosen everything out. If you're new and you're only joining into the stretches, don't be worried about your range of motion or your mobility yet. Let yourself get into what you're doing. You're probably a bit uncomfortable and sore from the classes during the week. Have a good weekend guys, and we will talk to you all during the week. Have a good one.